Sorry. All right. The recording. Okay, it's on. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who's on first? Hold your position. Are we a unit with cracks?
Yeah, perfect.
Sac passe. You're listening to Unfiltered Liming with BLT. Every week, we will reflect on our journeys on trying to navigate between our parents' traditional culture versus American culture. We are your hosts,
Bertie, the Haitian sensation,
Lisa, the Dominican diva,
and Terry, the tantalizing Trini.
No one's talking, so let's get unfiltered. A lot of things that say single mothers put their kids first, and that's wrong because the man, first of all, I feel like can't nobody tell you what to set precedent in your relationship.
I agree.
All these people are their opinions of what works best. You got to figure out what element from this and that you pull together and what makes you to know, because you know your boundaries, you know the things that the triggers that set you know the things. You understand what I'm saying? So if I'm in a relationship, first of all, I got to get to know you for myself and to trust you enough. Then to bring my son into it, because guess what? His father is not a deadbeat father. His father takes care of his business, so I'm not looking for a baby daddy. That's one. So let's clarify that. Second of all, there's no level of disrespect for me when it comes to his father, but it's my job to protect my child. So there's I don't like, again, the competition of it's not about who's being first. He's my child, you're my husband or partner. Let's not compare the two. Why are we comparing the two? It's no sense of, we don't need to, my husband come first, because I think that's where we fuck it up. Nobody needs to come first. We're a family. It's called balance. It's called boundaries. He's gonna be there. He's my child. There's no level of why we now putting competition that this child has to compete. We don't need that. Like, let's be honest, it's balance. And just like, I don't need you to choose and put me over your family because that's your family, that's your mama. I don't need you to do that. I need us to be on the same page and have balance and have boundary, bro. We don't need to have this conversation, who come first, who comes second,
I agree.
That. We are one unit. We move as one unit, and let's do that, because then when you try to be like, he's first, that's where the fucked up problem comes, because now you bring in all this competition that I need to be first and all this. Let's not worry about it. Let's move as one unit and get this money and be healthy and all this. And let's do that. Why are we doing everything else to try to compete?
Okay, Lisa, why your eyebrows connecting, Lisa, like you in deep thought? I think that's a good point she brought up there. She hit that one home. I still can't see the ball going because she hit that one so far. Lisa.
Over the fence,
right?
Through the meadows, ain't nobody getting that shit.
That's a whole freaking run.
I agree with what B said, but unless you're married or engaged, I think it's a different ball game. That's me personally.
So you're saying that prior to engagement that's leading to marriage, you have first, second, and third. Okay. But once you get engaged and then you're married, then like B said, it's a unit, correct?
You made that commitment.
All right, then. Yeah. We can roll with that, D. Lyman crew. You hear that? We can roll with that. Okay. I like that. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense.
Because it might not last. Like, I agree with that. It might not last. So now, because I also feel like when you are with a person, because I used to have exes get upset that they're not meeting my son right away. And I was like, fuck, I don't know you. Right. I first of all need to trust you, and now look at where I'm at. You're not here. So I'm not bringing my child around a bunch of different, peoples. For what reason? I have to trust you first. So I right now don't even know if I trust you to even know where this is going. We haven't defined anything. And then you want to just bring in, I think sometimes people feel the pressure. You're not about to pressure me to meet my child. And if you ever feel like, because I'm not important to you, then here's the door. Your ego and you can go, because you just not have the right mindset and mentality. If you don't understand that if children are, first of all, brought up in an environment, first of all, that it's already messed up because their parents are not together, right? Now, if we do the work as parents and understand that now we have to, that's a different level of this child that we added to their life that they didn't ask for. So I have to make sure that that's protected, because guess what? They didn't ask for all this bullshit that they're in. So we got to maneuver, and then you want to add your own personal drama and not understand that it's my job to protect my child, whichever his dad and I's job to protect him as much as we can from certain things, and you want to bring your bullshit and not understand why there's like timing and there's all these development things, and depending on the age of the child and all these other stuff, you don't know what. So guess what? If you don't understand that, then take several seats. You are not the one. Let me move on, because we're going to have issues. And no, we don't want none of that. Because I'm not, I'm sorry, I'm not choosing the welfare, and not even putting the child care. I'm not choosing the welfare of my child over your ego.
So there's a difference. Let me ask you this other question, right? Prior to your son being born, when the point you were blissfully married, and you have your son, who comes first at that point for you? Or it's still not?
It's not. Like, I never, because the thing is, I'm about family. Bertita's about family. So for me, I don't even like to be center of attention. So for me, it was like, if we're, like, again, my mindset is we're a unit, we're a team. So that's why I'm like, I don't want you picking your mom over. I don't want you. The thing about it is that I need you to do, though, is if there's some type of disrespect, I'm not going to allow your family or my family to disrespect the person. Right? So the thing is, if your mom is disrespecting me or trying to do, unless it's some type, we don't need to, if you need to address that, and vice versa with my family. I felt like when I was married, I had to address that with my mom, and I had to give them the choice. This is the person I'm choosing. I'm not putting anybody above you, but what we're not going to do is disrespect, because that's my choice. So even if I fuck it up, because I had to have this conversation with my mom, even if I fuck it up, it doesn't work out, you could choose to be in this and support me. The negativity, I'm not going to do, because I'm not choosing. You allow yourself to pick. She chose to not be around. So then you understand what I'm saying? I'm not making that choice for you, because all I would want is for us to just get along, be a family, be a unit, and move together. But if you feel like for whatever reason you don't like this person, you don't want to be around this person, guess what? It's your choice. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, it's all about the family unit, because as Black folks, I feel like that's what we need to get back to, healthy family units, instead of trying to be like.
I know you're saying that we should move as a unit, so you shouldn't have to choose, right? But two parents, they have to be a united front for their children. They have to set the foundation for their children, right? They got to set the expectations and build the generational wealth for the children. So the husband and wife have to move as a unit. Now, when you have to move as a unit, one partner or the other can't put the children or put somebody else in front of that unit, because you guys have that goal and made the commitment to move as a unit, so that everybody trickling down can benefit from that unit. So in that retrospect, I feel like some choices have to be made sometimes, that you have to put your spouse ahead of the children.
For the bigger picture?
For the bigger picture.
Correct.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they're still part of your unit, right? So it's still like, let's use sports for an example. Basketball, they can't win a championship without the five, but there's a captain. And a lot of times people don't understand, being a captain or being a leader doesn't mean that you're not a unit and you're putting people first. You're putting the goal first. You're putting the bigger picture first. But it's still not a competition. You understand what I'm saying? Because the captain still puts the team first, puts his ego at the door, because we got to win as a unit. So whatever we do, because you may look at it like, let's say, yes, me and my husband move as a unit, but the thing is, the responsibility, like you just said, is I see a bigger picture for us, but you still have to take everybody with you. But this position is not larger or more important than this position. Right? But the captain has to see the goal and say, okay, we're getting a championship, right? So you now have to put yourself in a place where you're like, okay, but everybody has a role to play in that unit. right? You just sometimes got to put the vision and write the vision on the wall. They might not see it, but it's still not a competition of who's first or not, because we're still moving together and everybody's in agreement with this is where we're heading, because you still have to have the conversation with your unit. You still got to be like, the goal is this. Do they know all the details how we going to get there? No, because they're children. There's some stuff they can't, because they can't decide. But as a family, this is where we're going. You still include them. As a family, we're trying to get generational wealth. We're trying to get businesses. We're trying to get this. You have the conversation. You still don't leave them out of that. You understand what I'm saying? Because they still need to be in line with agreeing and making sure they play their part. We're still moving as a unit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All
The
of we
details
is
of
one
that is,
family.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because if you listen to documentary of what's his name, like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and all this stuff, and they talk about how the mindset of when they had the responsibility of taking their team to a championship, they had to include everybody, but also the level of mindset of how they had to be, because sometimes you have to lead by example. Right? And there's an added pressure because you see something that they might not see, but you got to get everybody there. Just like Moses and crossing the Red Sea. They might be, kicking, screaming, or but you already know, we got to cross because we got to get to this promised land. So I'm going to need y'all to wrap it up. Let's go. You know what I mean?
I think something that is a very, very good analogy, though, B. That makes a lot of sense.
Analogy,
it also, just like with us here, we all have to. Everybody has their part. So in order to make it successful, everybody has to do their part so we can continue to move to the next goal. So yeah, I think that in all relationships, in all relationships, everybody has a part to play. So in order to make the relationship successful, if everybody plays their part, now sometimes the parts may overlap, however, it's still for the common goal. And once we know what the common goal is in the relationship, then that's how it grows. Now, if you have your own agenda and I have my own agenda, it ain't moving nowhere. But if we come together and say, this is a common goal that's going to make the relationship successful, to move, to get it better, then we rocking and rolling.
Yep.
And the funny thing is the other point too, and I use this story a lot because I think it's so, but Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith, or even Alicia Keys, right? And their relationship of being co-parents, right? So, but the Jada Pinkett Smith story is a little bit better for me because at the time she was talking about how when she got with Will Smith, he has an older son, right?
Yeah, he's married before.
And the thing is, she went in with the mindset like, I'm the woman now, Jada Pinkett Smith and all this stuff. And I guess the mom had called to talk to the son, and she basically gave an attitude, right? And Will Smith nipped that in the butt. Like, yo, you're not about to do that. That's the mother. But the thing is, Will Smith never told the mom that. It was Jada Pinkett Smith that told the mom, like, yo, he put me in check. Right? Because now that's his new unit, but at the same time, he's still protecting his whole unit. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the thing about it is, but that's what made their relationship be where he understood the unit includes his child, and that's his mother, the mother of the child. You understand what I'm saying? Alicia Keys, too, in her relationship that she has, is the same thing. The unit may change, but sometimes the role the people play don't change because they still have to be like, and I think Alicia Keys was talking about it, like, it's still about the child. Like, you still have to move accordingly to make the environment healthy. You understand what I'm saying? For everybody involved, and it doesn't take away, or I think for me, when I listen to how Will Smith did it, it's like there's no competition.
Yeah.
He's the mother, and she's always going to be. You can either fall in line or not, but that's not going to change. So it's, again, letting the people know there's no competition because your role is your role. Like, at the end of the day, if this is your role, there's nobody that could take that role from you. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes I feel like when we put these competition in line is the fact that we don't understand what a role is, And we don't understand that nobody can take that role from us. So if your role is this, then the only way your role gets taken is if you allow it to be taken, or you don't understand what your role is and somebody else come in because you just like, yo, I was focusing on this and not learning what my role is and not learning what I need to do to keep my role and focusing on everything else instead of what your role is. Can nobody take your spot or your role unless you allow them to take it?
Oh my God.
Period.
Yeah.
Point blank, period.
Well, B, wait a minute. Hold tight. Haitian sensation. Fall back. That is an awesome point that you brought up. The role. A lot of times we get so threatened of our role being taken away from us, and we're being excluded from the unit, that we do things that are detrimental to the whole, that fucks up everything. Okay? So once you are secure within yourself and in your role, then like you said, B, nobody can take that from you because you're secure in your position. So the question is, what makes us not secure within our position? Is it our ego? Is it we allow somebody else to come in and maybe their shine might darken your area and you feel in some kind of way? So what is it that you just can't stand in your position and be good with that you have to go against all of that to fuck up the whole thing?
Personal insecurity, number one. And number two, that spouse is that spouse moving a certain way for you to feel some kind of lack of trust.
And I like that. Those two words.
I
think those
agree.
are two things.
Yes. Very good point. Very good.
I also think, so I would agree 100%. And I also think is we don't know our worth and value.
Ooh. Hold up, B. Hold up.
I saw the light going over there.
Bling, light going off. D-Lyman crew. This is, she just dropped the jewel. You're going to bust your knuckles up picking up this one. Go ahead, drop it. Drop it, D. Go ahead and drop it.
Because a lot of times, and it took me a while to understand, like, when I got divorced, it took me a while to understand that. I'll use myself as the example because my life story is experience. So when I got divorced, I felt like for some reason I wasn't worth enough for him to fight for our family, right? And then I had to like retrain myself and learn about myself and go through, learning and doing the work, like we say, to understand, like, at the end of the day, if I don't know my worth and I don't know my value, then how could I have expected him to treat me as such, right? Because a person only treats you how you, they say, the mirror, how you show them how to treat you. So my thing is, if I'm like, I don't value myself, I don't feel like I'm worth it, then not saying that it's right or whatever, but he did his best to treat me or show me that. But if I don't believe it and I don't receive it, like you said, then I'm doing things that are detrimental to that, right? I'm doing things that are opposite of what he's trying to do. So I'm resisting, and then we don't understand that some type of, like, when things don't work out, sometimes it's us. It's not the other person, it's us, because we're not doing the work to understand, well, what is my role? And then we feel intimidated because we feel like this should be where I should be, this should be mine, and blah, blah, blah. And understand, like, why should it be yours? Let's be honest. Why should it be yours? Like, we feel we deserve these things, but why? Why? Like, let's be honest. Why?
We set a certain level expectations for ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I feel like I'm worth X, Y, and Z, I should be treated as such, right?
Right. Right.
And if I'm not treated as such, then that situation is not for me.
Correct.
You got to set standards and expectations for yourself. You got to set standards for yourself.
Right.
Right.
But at some point, when we set these standards and expectation, do we really understand our worth and value in those standards and expectation is my question. Because we could set these expectations based on what the world tells us those expectations are. We could set those expectations based on that's how a relationship, the world shows us a relationship. But when we truly dive into ourselves, like our spiritual being, right? I feel, to me, those standards and expectations change because we're looking at now the bigger picture. We're looking at now like, okay, what is my worth? Let's say nobody treats me the way I feel they should. Does that change my worth? No. But the thing is, we put our worth based on how people treat us. If they don't treat me this way, then I may not be worthy, or maybe like we doubt ourselves, I feel sometimes as women, because we put so much of how a man may treat us or how different people treat us, or family, or mothers. Like sometimes we put those things, like our expectation is like, wait a minute, like, okay, they're treating me this way. Am I really like valuable? Am I really worth it? Because then if that's the case, then there's probably a lot of relationship we wouldn't get into because they already showed us in front that they didn't value us. So we pick these men based on how we feel we're worth it. So if they're not treating us, we can't say that it's them, it's us picking them, because we pick men and people based on what we think our value is. So if these men are not treating us how, then that means like there's something about me that I need to look at and say, okay, I selected to be with this man, but he treated me like XYZ. So that means there's something in me that I need to look at, because if I really felt I was this worth it, I wouldn't have chosen this one. Because we see the sign. We are accountable for our choices. We see the sign.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Because you're only going to deal with someone, I guess, your self-worth.
Yep.
Like how you feel at that time. That's who you're dealing with.
Yep.
Your self-worth. Yeah. So that's why, and you know what, too? That's why also maybe, I don't know, I personally feel like every relationship gets a little bit better. Because I think you learn a little bit more about yourself. You learn a little bit more about your worth, what you're not going to deal with. So I always feel like, because I had a girlfriend I was telling once, and it's just like, oh, woe is me. No relationship is working out. And I said, no, sit down and really think about it. Every relationship gets a little bit better. That's how I feel. I feel like every relationship gets a little bit better, because when you get out of one relationship, you should always sit back, look, analyze, what would I like to see different? What am I going to deal with?
What's the lesson?
But Lisa, most people don't do that. But most people don't do that, though. Let's be honest. What you just said, only a few people do that. Let's just be honest. Because that's why they have the woe is me. Every time they don't take that lesson and they don't look, they like, oh, well, this one is fucked up. This one is, they take no accountability. Most people don't do that.
Yeah, you're right. No, sorry, I had to think about that. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, D-Lyman crew, I officially need some Band-Aids because I busted up my knuckles. The jewels that have been dropped today are like, OMG.
So stupid.
So I'm going to piggyback on that, B. Yeah. Yes, B is 500% correct. And I know that 10, 15, 20 years ago, I was in the woe is me, I don't understand, scratching my head. But when I started to get more in tune with myself, to take onus on the bullshit that I did and what I allowed, then I was able to see things differently. And I was able to weed out people early, like saying, I said, nah, I dated you already. Yeah, I dated you. And when I said that, they were a little confused, meaning that I dated someone like you, just the way that you coming at me. So now I'm so good. But thank you so much, though. I was able to see that from the gate. So no one was pressing my door. And I'm talking about not the physical door. No one was pressing my door with the foolishness to be able to come in and try to disrupt what I'm putting together. So now I'm very mindful and careful on who I bring into my area and my circle. So if I want you into that private part of me, then that's when I will invite you in. But other than that, nigga, you ain't coming in. Fuck that. You are not coming in just like that, thinking it's a free for all. Nah, nah, bruh, nah.
Yeah. But when you do come in, she gonna bust you up.
Oh my God! But I think you're so right though. Like at the end of the day, I think like for me, what I've realized recently, like we call each other like kings and queens, right? And if you do the research about kings and queens, the mindset that it takes to be a king and a queen is very just not the word. But think about it, right? As a queens, you never have to, first of all, you're a queen, you're a queen. You never have to explain yourself to nobody. You never have to, like, there's a certain level of, I don't want to say confidence, maybe, yeah, a level of confidence that you're a queen. And who gonna fuck with you? Who gonna fuck with, like, if I say I'm a queen, right? And my mindset is I'm a queen, who gonna fuck with that? But the thing is, as women, Black women, I don't think it takes us a while to get to the status of, you not gonna fuck with me because I'm a queen and that's what I say that I am. And who gonna devalue that? You know what I mean? But the thing is, we expect other people to give us what the definition of a queen is. And then we relate to, like, well, okay, he's treating me like that, so you understand what I'm saying? Like, we don't define what a queen is to ourselves. So this is my throne, this is my castle, these are the rules, these are what I do, whatever. Anybody opposite that comes outside, because we allow people to come in and try to disrupt that. We allow the people to come in, like, just coming in, and I'm like, wait a minute, like, why do we allow that? You understand what I'm saying? Like, we, as a queen, if you really look at queens, and you are on your throne, and unless they kill you to take it, they steal it and imprison you to take it, can't nobody walk up to a queen for I don't care what you gotta say, and make me feel like I'm not a queen. Like, think about that. Think about queens back in the day. Can't nobody roll up on the throne. There was rule, there was regulation. If you ain't come right, you could be beheaded, you could be killed, you could be, like, all of that was protected. You understand what I'm saying? So the thing is, like, do we really know what that means? And do we put those things into place?
Well, you can't put those things
to know, like, there's, like, literally, no, I'm just saying, like, literally that spot is yours unless you denounce it or it's taken away from you. And it has to be taken away with a fight.
But here's the thing, though. If it is not taught and inbred from when you are small or when you at birth, then you will never feel that you are of that level. Okay? And that is something that you would have to eventually say, but wait, I am here. But if that's not inbred in you from the time of birth to let you know you are a queen and this is the stuff that you should aspire to, or, this is how you hold you make sure your crown is always straight, or you're a king and you make sure that, you make sure your crown is straight, then what do you expect? What do you expect? If we do not instill in our children the importance of carrying that as a prince or a princess to become queens and kings, then here we always falling short. We're always falling short, and the expectation is how other people treat us, because we get the implants from our parents that still don't know any better. That if so and so does X, Y, and Z, then that means that he really cares or whatever. But it's so much more than that. It's so much deeper than that, and we didn't even get to the depth of that. So, Lisa, your eyes are furrowing.
And the other thing too that I realized, go ahead, Lisa.
No. I agree with Terry. I agree with it. It's the foundation. It starts in the beginning, right? Yeah.
B, go ahead. Bust up my knuckles.
No, I'm not busting no more knuckles, but I think you're right. At the end of the day, is once you found that that's crack in the foundation, then we gotta do the work. We gotta do better. You understand what I'm saying? Because not trying to be funny, like I know with my son, since he was young, I've been telling him, I'm like, yo, you a prince. I ain't giving up my throat. You know what I'm saying? You gonna be carrying like he literally. But the thing is, can't nobody tell him different. Can nobody tell him, like, you trying to come at him and tell him that he's not his worth? He gonna be looking at you like, but the thing is, I think you're right, because we found, in our generation, I found, like, we are finding cracks in our foundation. And a few of us are being like, okay, there's cracks, because I feel like there's sometimes people that they don't realize that there's a crack in the foundation, right? They don't realize, like, yo, this is not, because again, whatever is being passed down or whatever, they think like that's normal, right? And it's no judgment, or it's not anything wrong, but there's a few people that's like, wait a minute, I don't think that that's right. I think there's some cracks, there's some foundation. So then I feel like also you are guided, because it's not everybody that's able to handle when they find the crack, doing the work. So I think certain people are guided to be like, okay, see what the crack is, be able to do the work, and then do better. You know what I'm saying? For the next, I guess, generation, or just for a betterment of trying to make some type of change. That's just me at the end of the day. Because not everybody can handle it. Because I'm sorry, when you're trying to see and you going down and you trying to, like, all these cracks, you find it could be depressing. Like, damn, like, and then you be wondering, like, well, Lord, why do I have to be the one to, like, find these cracks, and then I got to do the work to change it, because it's a lot of cracks sometimes.
But here's the thing.
And that's why we have therapy, people.
Exactly. But B, wait a minute, hold tight. D-Lyman crew, I want y'all to understand there is nothing wrong with the cracks, because the cracks are the things that that you learn from to help to take you to that next level. People, whenever people see something that may be different, or they so-called say is wrong with you, then they wanna label it as it's a bad thing, or it's a negative thing, or something you crazy you did, and you know something, that's not the case. A lot of times those are things that, when you're ready to really do the self-analysis, to be able, those are your stepping stones to get up to that next level, so you could fix that crown, because you're going up to that next level to look in the mirror, to adjust your crown to be the best person that you can be. So don't let nobody tell you that how, oh, you fucked up, or you this and something's wrong with you. No, it's just at that time, that's where your mindset is at that time. Okay, so now you realize it, so you move on. That's a stepping stone right there. You move on to the next level. Okay, something else happened. Yep. Okay, that's your mindset at that time. You learn from it, you move on to the next level. That's your stepping stone also. So it's not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing. And don't let nobody tell you that.
You're right.
Now the church say amen.
Amen. You know the other story about being a king, and the funny thing is,
ma'am, I'm gonna need you to take that down for a second. B, carry on, please.
Not everybody is funny. Not everybody is meant to carry that crown. Like, think about, and I know I'm using a lot of biblical, but maybe because it's Sunday, but think about the story of David. You could be the one, like, how many brothers and sisters David had? And God was like telling the prophets all like, yo, no, he not the one. He not the next king. No, he's not the one.
Okay, hold up. All right. I understand what you're saying, B, and stuff, but I don't know if I agree with that. Yeah, he may not be the king, but everybody has their own crown.
Correct.
And how they should carry, how self-respect, how they should carry themselves. Everybody has their own crown to carry.
I agree with that, but what I was getting with that, with the person that carries the crown to change the foundation and the cracks. Because everybody, you could be, like, let's say in our family, I feel like everybody has their own, how would I say? Not everybody in our family takes the mantle to say, oh, there's a crack and I'm going to make a difference.
But don't we have to work on our own cracks? Everybody's responsible for their own cracks to work on,
but you're still part of the family.
But in order to, okay.
Yeah, I'm part of the family, but I got to do my work
as an individual
to help that family tree.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm a branch. I got to do my own work. I got to do my own. I can't put that on nobody else.
True.
That's nobody else's responsibility.
But yourself.
That's true.
That's why they got therapy.
And we're not talking about alcohol, people. We're not talking about alcohol, not the liquid
goodness.
No. We're talking about
Terry.
Jesus Christ, no. We're talking about professional therapy.
Some people think there's something bad with it. A lot of the stigma in the Black community, they think there's something. Yeah, it's nothing wrong with it. So, D-Liming crew,
you gotta do what you need to do to make sure that you fix those cracks.
I'm always looking for somebody's couch to lay on.
Okay, she means that in the therapeutic sense. Yes, please let D-Liming crew.
Oh,
let
sorry,
me disclaimer.
Sorry, my bad.
Yes, very therapeutic.
Besides that, yes, she's.
Yes, it's very therapeutic to lay on the couch. Yes.
Bye. Thank you
She
for clearing
doesn't
that up,
mean
Terry.
lay, she means sit. Yes, and speak to someone who has a pad and pencil. Yes, that type of situation. Nothing else. Nothing more, nothing else.
My bad.
So would you say that it's wrong? Because we talk about, okay, we see the cracks, right? And we're a part of our family tree. Is it wrong to cut the branch, like to take the seed from your branch and start a whole new tree? I'm just saying.
Well, that does happen when you get married and you have your own seeds. Isn't that's how that usually works?
No,
I'm just asking
I don't agree.
Question.
No, I don't agree.
Yeah,
I don't agree. The tree, remember, it's rooted from the. It's
you don't agree with what?
What you said?
What?
The tree, isn't it? It's rooted. So if you take the branch if you go and you plant another,
it's rooted. But when you
grow branches.
Yeah, and when the leaves that grow on there and other seeds that grow, they fall off the branch and they form other trees. Isn't that how it works? Did I miss that in my
pollination,
class?
Germination, and all that good stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. Did I miss that in class? Or I don't know.
Go ahead, Terry.
Okay. However, you know that underneath that the roots, they get intertwined. You know that, right? So.
Oh yeah.
So with that, that's where the the basis, all that comes from. So you're correct. Yes, pollination, germination. Okay, it starts off a whole new tree. However, at the bottom, when the roots are growing, they're growing, and they do connect with the original tree, I should say, because they need that original tree.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah, that's an important factor about it. So yeah, you're correct, Lisa. Yes, you're definitely correct.
So it's safe to say this episode is cracks in the foundation.
Yes.
Cracks in the foundation.
Yes. So thank you to our listeners as we discuss about the cracks in the foundation, our cracks in the foundation, other people's cracks in their foundations. I'm just saying.
Yes.
So thank you for listening once again. Terry, you have anything for us?
Yes, the tip. Do not let anyone.
The tip. What about the tip? Sorry.
See what I'm talking about? Here we go. You see where the crack in her foundation is?
Sorry.
That's the problem, is her crack. The tip, D-Liming crew.
Ow!
Make sure that do not let anybody diminish your crack. Whatever your crack is, it is there to help you to elevate to your next level. So use those cracks as your stepping stone. And on that note, with that tip, we are out.
À la prochaine, le peuple. Thank you for joining us this week on Unfiltered Liming with BLT. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and join our Facebook page at Unfiltered Liming with BLT. As always, subscribe to the show to catch every new episode and leave us a review so we can continue to bring you fresh, exciting content. See you next Thursday, same time, same station. Unfiltered Liming with BLT is edited and produced by Unfiltered Liming with BLT.